Let's get more on Meta's results, specifically from Gene Munster, managing partner at Deepwater Asset Management. Wow, Gene, what is stock reaction? What are the things that you want to know on this call?
I want to actually hear about what's happened. It hasn't hit the trajectory of the traders here, but this is a massive asset. They're starting to do direct messaging for businesses to consumers. And as an investor in Meta, this is an opportunity that I think could add 10, 15% to the overall revenue in the next few years. So that's one piece I want to focus in. I think that's an area that people are not going to be talking much about. Also, as long-term investors, I want to just kind of continue to hear their views on their trajectory of their DAUs, and just want to underscore, Karen mentioned a number. I had a fractionally different number on the DAU growth. Just point this out. I think it was 4% year over year. That's up from 3.7% in the December quarter and 2.5% and 2% back in June of last year. 4 consecutive quarters of increasing DAU growth. I know those are small numbers, but the base is massive, 2 billion. That's 35% of the active internet users are on a Meta product every day. And that is addictive products. And those maintaining that, at the end of the day, this whole story, what holds it all together is those DAU numbers. And you do hit a top end at some point when you get all the people. But that's another piece I want to kind of dial into. And it'll be fun to do. Another thing I'll be doing is the Metaverse count. We basically disappeared from their December earnings call. We'll see how often Mark talks about it tonight.
So what are the magic words? Are AI, and what else are and efficiency? Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Or is that sort of played out as well?
AI is always, that don't want to overlook that toy department, because they'll be talking about that and creating content that the different Reels users will use to create content. That'll definitely be something that focuses, will be a topic on the call. As far as the other key factors here, the efficiency, just one thought on that as well. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of talk on this. I think we got one more quarter where Wall Street's going to be focusing on this. Our view is that that's going to largely be priced in within a quarter, and then we're going to have to get back to the focus on growth. And next year, the Street's looking for 11% growth. They're not going to give this on the call, but I suspect tomorrow, analysts are going to probably be bumping that up to about 15%, below where they were pre-pandemic in the mid 20% growth. But that 15% is a stable number. Sleep well at night, and I think we'll get some just generally optimistic commentary about just the strength of the platform that can drive that longer, more stable revenue growth.
Gene, hypothetically, because it's not going to happen, but if they walked away from it, it's a $4 billion loss this quarter, which is not insignificant in a quarter that does $28 billion in revenue, off of a base of about $340 million of revenues. If they just said, you know what, we gave it a shot, what would the stock be rewarded for that?
I think it would be rewarded some. I actually did the math on it this quarter. They reported 220. If they wouldn't have had Reality Labs, it would have been 340. So they would have an incremental 55% upside. I think the stock would probably get 20% of that. Some people would be disappointed that they're kind of giving up and they're not as innovative, so they wouldn't get that full benefit. So the multiple would actually come down, I think, if they exited the metaverse. I still think it's the right thing to do. I just published a piece on everybody's talking about AI. Don't forget about the metaverse. Apple's going to be entering this space probably in the summer. And I think that we will look back 5 years. It's going to take time, but we will look back 5 years. And I think that there'll be some redemption for Zuckerberg on the topic.
All right, Gene, let us know if you hear anything good on the conference call. Raise your hand. We'll talk to you a little bit later on. Gene Munster. So it's interesting that you mentioned, I mean, they would have to change their name. Back.
But they have, look,
back.
I kind of feel like they have thrown it out. I mean, they have thrown it. They've stopped talking about it, and he was never going to just walk away and acknowledge this. But a year ago, the whole point was if this company just focused on cutting expenses and focused on the cash flow that they generate, it would have a massive rally. They've effectively done. They've had different excuses for how they could just focus on expenses. They've had the macro environment. They've had a bunch of different things. No one's needed to push them on the metaverse. I don't think they're going to push themselves on the metaverse.
So that's going to be up, though. If Gene is right, that's going to be up in a quarter, and then they're going to start having to answer for $4 billion in losses. each quarter. If let's say that's the same, it actually increased quarter on quarter, right? So let's say it's the same. Is that okay with you?
I think it is okay. I mean, it's way down from where it could have been, and the rest of their business is doing a lot better. So if you put those things together, and they've been very aggressive on reductions in force. So it's not like they're just giving it lip service. They are, in fact, more efficient. And so yes, I think they can still spend $4 billion.
Is the metaverse AI? Does it have aspects of it? Are they two different things? Do we know that?
I think they are.
So I think they're different things.
They're two different things, but they could be used probably. There's probably threads that run through each.
Absolutely.
I think you'll probably start getting paid on that, which is, I think, what we're all saying. And if they back out of it, they'll call it the meta reverse.
Oh,
see what I'm saying?
Set that up nicely.
Yeah.
So he asked the question when he really didn't even care what the answer was. It was actually You got me.